Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast, episode number 52. But what 3 tips would you give the leads to improve their bachata? If they're looking to improve their bachata and they're listening right now, what would you tell them?
So I love to say this one in the beginning, like as soon as we start the partner work portion of our class, the first thing I always tell people is what I'll say right now. And it's sometimes a little bit hard to hear, especially for beginners. And what we like to say is if you can dance an entire song with the person in front of you without having to rely on any dips, tricks, or turn patterns of any kind, and you could just stay doing the fundamentals the entire time, then you are doing a good job. If you have to rely on any sort of turn patterns or dips of any kind throughout to get you through the song, then you still have a lot of work to do based on your fundamentals.
Eres dueña de todos mis pensamientos. Te lo juro que seré un hombre muerto si 24 horas no tengo tu amor. Por más que intento contenerme, de no llorar y hacerme el fuerte, no consigo reponerme del desamor.
Welcome to the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast, the podcast dedicated to inspiring dancers worldwide whose hearts have been touched by music and dance. The universal language of dance and music is spoken by many of us throughout the world. We want to motivate the dancer in you by sharing stories, insights, and ideas to enhance your journey. Join us now with your host, Charles Ogar.
Hello, everyone. This is Charles with the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast, coming at you with another podcast this week. And this week we're going to do something a little bit different. You guys have been listening before. You know that I typically interview a Kizomba instructor, but today we have a bachata couple that I've actually had the pleasure of meeting a couple times over the past year. And I'm like, I got to get these guys on my podcast because their energy is so awesome. Then I saw their videos and like all these millions of views. So I was like, okay, these guys are hustling. So I would like to introduce Jonathan and Jennifer Isabel, also known as #J2.
What's up?
Hey.
Charles, my man.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on?
Hi, everyone.
Yes. I'm excited to see you guys in 2 weeks at DCBX.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Oh my God, we love that event. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's our
That event is crazy.
Squared.
But I don't think I think I missed the very first 2 just because I wasn't a dancer in a way. But I think I've been at DC every single year since I've been.
Isn't it crazy to like go to an event where you're like barely starting out and then in a couple of years you're an artist at the same event?
Yeah, I think.
Yes,
I think that's what DC is for DC and LA has been for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I made it.
We're making it.
Oh yeah.
Nice. All right, so for our listeners who have not heard of you, can you go ahead and introduce yourselves to our lovely listeners and fill in any gaps that I didn't include?
Sure. So my name is Jennifer Isabel, and I've been dancing professionally for about 8 years, and mostly bachata. I do dabble in a little bit of social dancing in terms of like salsa and zouk. I perform and teach bachata.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Okay. And my name is Jonathan Godinez. I am originally from Miami, Florida, born and raised. My background is Colombian and Cuban, and I started dancing like when I was like 15 years old. Cuban salsa. I started with Cuban salsa all the way up till I was like 25 years old, which is when I moved to New York. It was always a very casual thing. I was always teaching, but never like performing or anything serious like that. And then I moved to New York, and then that's when I was introduced to bachata and onto salsa, and that's when I started taking it more seriously, and I joined Jennifer's team actually. At the time, she had a team, and I joined her team, and I started training. And I would say that that's when I guess, I started, I wouldn't say professionally, but that's when I started definitely taking it more serious, and I wanted to pursue dance.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it.
Nice. We'll definitely get into how you guys first met and all that kind of stuff, because if I know correctly, you guys are a dance couple and also like a romantic couple, yes?
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Is that a no-go zone?
It's not a no-go zone. It's just very interesting because we don't necessarily like talk about it. But the thing is like we love people to see our connection for what it is, and it's not like necessarily something that we could say is like romantically or not.
We want them to make their own assessment.
Exactly.
Basically, like we leave it open for interpretation, just because it's. Well, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's like I don't know about Jonathan, but how I feel is that I've seen the other side of being an artist, where like, yes, you have a profile and, you've declared your relationship, whether it's professionally and personal, but then you also open the door for other people to, I don't want to say meddle, but they also criticize you, and they believe that just because you have this public professional life and, you put everything out there on social media, that gives them a right to into your personal life, if that makes sense in a way.
That definitely makes a lot of sense, for sure.
Which I totally get, because you open yourself up to like the public and you want them to feel connected to you. But I think somewhere people forget boundaries, and I think it gets a little tricky. So we just, Jonathan
and we're also like strong, firm believers of like having a dance partnership. There's so many dance couples out there, and we are like we strongly and firmly believe that connection is important when you have a dance partnership. And some people forget that, and sometimes which I get it too. Like, you have a super talented, amazing dancer that's been dancing for ballet for 100 years, and then you have another dancer that's been trained in contemporary arts and salsa, and then you put them together and you have a banging couple that's like, it's like amazing, right? But then at the same time, like, where's the connection? Like, there's no connection, and I think connection is so important when it comes to dance, and we really care about that. So it's like what we want to show is like, you don't need to be in a romantic relationship to have such a great connection.
For sure.
Just because like, and we also try to prove that with our social dancing. Like, we try to give dancers a similar experience to what they think that J Squared is about. So, for example, like, they see me dancing with Jonathan, and I just try to have them see that I can build connection with them too. Not the same, obviously, as Jonathan, because it's just a friendship on a different level. But there can be a connection established.
Definitely. I like that position, because definitely like having a lot of your life in the public eye, being a dance partner and kind of promoting yourself and things like that. Of course, that you have that line of being professional, and then you're having your personal life as well. I mean, even with my relationships that I've had in the past, I tend to not put any of that on social media, just because so much of me is on social media already,
Exactly.
So yeah, I can relate to that for sure.
Exactly. And I'm sure a lot of people can. It's totally a normal thing, especially in the dance world.
Nice.
Yeah, it's tricky just because it's a two-way street. Either you put your relationship out there so your audience feels like they are there with you, they are next to you,
invested in your relationship,
which I've seen be done successfully, but it doesn't work out that way for everyone.
For sure.
So we're just avoiding the risks of it not working out. So.
Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. How long have you guys been dance partners?
I would say officially, I would say it's officially since maybe like our second dance video. What do you think?
Yeah, it's coming. Like our 1 year would be coming up
very soon. It's like October. It would be. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys have kind of been kicking butt and taking names in a short amount of time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, our debut of our first routine was January 28th and of this year, and we really honestly it was definitely a conversation that I had with Jennifer. I was like, Jennifer, you need to come and sit down and have a conversation with me because we need to be partners. And she's just not about that life because she just got out of a 5-6 year dance team commitment. And she just didn't think that it would work out. And I gave her so many reasons as to why it would be so positive. And it just wasn't happening. And then I was like, okay, fine, let's make a dance video together. And it's going to be different and it's going to change. It's going to change your perception as to why we should or should not be partners. And when we made that video, she's like, oh my God, what is happening here?
He tried to bribe me with food, Charles. Nice.
And then I mean, really, it's just like after that video came out, it was like a stream of promoters asking us to come and perform at their event, and we're just like, we don't have any shows. Like we're just doing a video together. So and then when it just consistently kept happening, and we're just like, you know what, let's make another video, let's just make another video to go, to add on to the first one that we made, and then after that, it just kept happening, like a full stream of promoters coming and asking us to be at their events. And that's when we were like, okay, let's go try and be at one of the events as social dancers and see what happens. And we did like a demo at the event, and that was awesome and everything. But we just felt like, okay, it's time to like make this official and start working on a routine. And that's what we did. And before we even finished the routine, we were already booked through like half the year.
That's crazy.
So it was really cool, and we're like super fortunate and thankful for that.
That's awesome. So the fact that you mentioned the videos is one of the things that stood out to me. From other dance couples I've seen, even in salsa, bachata, kizomba, like you guys seem to put a very high focus on professional videos, and like collaborations and like that kind of thing. So I'm curious, where does that come from? Like, how did you guys start with that?
In terms of the videos, Jonathan, he hasn't mentioned it, but Jonathan does video and photo professionally as a freelancer, correct?
Nice.
So
that would explain all the crazy effects and like from up above and like the text on the videos. I'm like, this guy's like professionally producing videos. It's different than just taking your iPhone and like recording something,
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why the videos are so well. I mean, Jonathan is an amazing editor and photographer and videographer, which I'm so happy that the community also is slowly with our videos, slowly recognizing that and actually reaching out to him to produce higher quality videos. But I think the quality aspect applies to all that we do. And I really enjoy that because that's a conversation that me and Jonathan had. And we agreed to, before we actually launched, that everything that we would do, it would be of higher quality and not just getting something out there just to put it out there, but making sure that everything that we put out there is of superb quality. I think it also comes from Jonathan's background of not only seeing what's going on in the dance scene, but seeing on like professionally, like what's outside in the technology world, maybe like television and movies.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, like my background is like I graduated college I have a bachelor's in film and digital production.
That's awesome.
So that's literally like what my life has revolved around, and that's like why I moved to New York. That's what I did in Miami. I worked for like Telemundo and Univision, and when I came to New York, my vision was like, my goal was to start working with bigger companies and do bigger things. So it wasn't at all for dance. It was actually for photo and video. And And that's what I came here for. And that's what I started doing. You know, I started working for NBC, and that's just always been my background. And it's like, when I started dancing, I never wanted to mix the two worlds, just because I just like, you know, I want to separate the two. One is for work and one is for pleasure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I in like the nicest way possible, is there's just a huge lack of good quality stuff on social media for the dance community.
I will completely agree with that 110%.
It's people don't think of it the same way. You know, people are like, oh, there's a good video of me social dancing, but they took it with their iPhone and the phone is standing up and down. And you know, the way that you look at the phone, like you're filming up and down, that's the way people film things now, because that's just what's comfortable for them. They're not trained. They're used to Snapchat and stuff like that. And it's just like, that's not professional. And they'll put out a video of them like that. And it's just, and that's okay, because really in reality, which is what I've always realized, in reality, what people care about is the dancing. In reality, if you're one of their favorite dancers and they have a huge following because they're amazing dancers, you could put the crappiest video out there. They do not care. They will show love.
Exactly. It can still go viral. It still has that potential.
It doesn't matter. And unfortunately, like one of the things that Jennifer and I we're really staying away from is videos that go out there of dancers because they have low cut shorts or super tight bodysuits on and things like that. And because the girl is, you know, gorgeous and has a great body or whatever, that video goes viral. And we strongly care about not making our videos look like, oh wow, they're completely showing off her body so that they can get more views. And we're trying to really show that you can do something strong and positive and have a good message without having to show so much, you know, and we really care about that as well. So it's just like all about, we kind of like, I'm sorry, I kind of like totally veered off from the original question.
It's okay, and it's completely fine.
But we really care about quality, and we do have, you know, like our routine and everything, but you know, the way we see it is like you have 1 or 2 or maybe 3 routines a year. And that's, and are you going to just keep promoting the same show and the same costume for an entire year? Or even if it's 2 or 3? No, like people want to see other things. And we love to do, I'm like a storyteller. So why not tell stories and have people get connected to us in different ways?
And that's exactly what I feel when I watch you guys' video. Like I was watching the video Tu Photo.
Yeah.
And it's like, even there's like a minute before even there's any like a first step of dancing, but it's obviously that you guys are like at a theme park, you guys are having fun and all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like if you can mix the power of storytelling and the dance with high quality video. And I mean, obviously you guys have seen the results with the way that your videos have been received on social media, but I think it makes a lot of sense because you just need to produce high quality content that engages your audience, you know, and a story is the perfect way to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Like it's like anything, honestly. And people sometimes don't realize it, but when you go watch a movie, like a movie is going to suck if it doesn't have a good story. And it's just, it's simple. It's a very simple thing, you know, and that's the way I feel about like any video, almost like any video. It's totally arguable, but you can watch any video, and if there's no story to it, sometimes it's just not the same thing. But with dancing videos, like you can put a video of somebody dancing out there and you'll watch the whole thing and there's necessarily no story. But to me, it's way more interesting. Like I'd rather watch a video of somebody telling a story than a video of somebody social dancing the entire time for like 3 minutes. You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
I think it's also your perspective, and we also recognize like the other side of it, right? The dance scene isn't accustomed to seeing these kind of videos, so like one of the backlashes that we get is well, there wasn't enough dancing. So I think that goes into perspective. Like, why are you watching this video? Some people watch dance videos because they're looking to to copy moves, or they're trying to see what's happening in this specific style, versus just taking a video and watching for what it is and just enjoying, again, like Jonathan said, the story, versus looking for something more than what it is. I think that we're very comfortable with not having, like you said, more story or a balance of story and dancing, just because we know that there's dance videos. Like if you want a full dancing video, you can probably go on YouTube and you can find that. We're just trying to do something different.
Yeah, and that's also goes into the collaboration effort part, like you said. We're so about bringing people together and showing that the scene could be one and the scene could be united. That you don't need to make a video only about Jonathan and Jennifer, that you can make a video and do things with other dancers, and that's okay. You know, dancers nowadays are so focused on promoting themselves, they forget that there's other people out there that you go to events and you collaborate with these people, you hang out with these people. Some of these people become your friends. They become, people that you end up seeing in other events, and you get close to them, and or whatever the case may be. It's like, why is it that your social media has to be only about you? There's so many other people out there doing great things, and why not share the love, and bring people together? So that's why we started doing videos with our friends. It's like, well, we love these people. It would be great to have them, and like everybody that we've had in our videos, starting with the first one we started collaborating was like with Mark Brewer, who came down from literally flew down from Detroit to be in the video, and Kimberly from Canada, she came just to be in the video. We had different people from New York, like Isabel and Chris and Leo, who now lives in Texas. He's all this is so important to us. And then we did the Tu Photo one in LA, where we had George Contreras from LA and Tony and Gracie and Ashley. These guys are all such humble people, and we were so honored to have them in the video and highlight their talents as well. It wasn't all about us. So, and we really like to promote that.
That's awesome. That's really awesome to see the collaborations. It's really awesome to see the focus on quality and the focus on telling a story and things like that. So that's really, really awesome. To talk a little bit about the partnership, I know you guys haven't been partners for that long, but obviously there's always lessons learned, and you guys have been booked a lot as well, but I'm pretty sure that's come with challenges as well. So I'm just curious, really quick, what would you guys say has been the biggest challenge for you guys coming out?
There's a couple, I would say, but the one that sticks out in my head is, which is another reason why I hesitated to partner with Jonathan, is that we both come from other teams and other styles, and just having folks or promoters see J Squared as something new, something not previously done by one another. I come from another team with another style, with another work ethic and reputation, and so does Jonathan. Jonathan had his own team, and just really making sure that that's being distinguished in this brand new partnership.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't ever
it's not a challenge.
It hasn't been a huge challenge. But it's definitely been something that we faced. But besides that, as far as the dancing goes, I definitely think that one of our challenges has been, especially with the changing scene, is really showing people that sensual bachata doesn't have to be so sensual when it comes to dips and things like that. We've encountered classes where people are oh, but we want to do this and we want to do that, and why can't we dip her? And we saw this video of this person dipping like this, and we want to do that. And it's well, we don't teach that. You can be sensual without having to do things like that. And that's one of our ever-going challenges that we're really trying to let students know that you don't have to rely on that kind of stuff. That's one thing. And definitely the fact that we're producing a lot of video content. We have, and it's pretty much has become almost a full-time thing for us. it's definitely getting to that point. But we've been working so much on like social media that we don't really have enough time to work on our routine. We've been like working on our second routine since like the first one came out, and we're really trying to get it done, and we still haven't got it done. The practice time has like been hard. That's definitely one of our challenges as well.
But we'll get it together.
We're making it work. It's just, it's hard. Like when you know of all people,
definitely
exactly how you are with like a partner or routines and stuff like that. But for us, it's like we just got back yesterday, and okay, good. We don't have to travel this weekend, so we're gonna put in the work because next week is DC. But next week is already DC. Like we're already hoping to debut in DC, and that's not gonna happen. You know, we're already past the half of the year, so we're really trying to get our new routine out there.
Let's take a quick moment to thank our sponsors. Have you been looking to level up your Kizomba, but you don't have the local instructors to take you there? Are you looking for something concrete to practice with your Kizomba partner? Or are you looking for Kizomba lessons that you can take on your schedule in the comfort of your home? If you answered yes to any of these questions, look no further. LearnToKiz.com is what you need. Progressive, step-by-step lessons that you can take at your pace in the comfort of your home or anywhere with a solid internet connection on your PC, Mac, or any smartphone. New videos are added every month. You can try this awesome resource out 30 days free at LearnToKiz.com/podcast. After the 30 days free, it's only a low $15 per month. But again, the special offer for the Dance Your Heart on Fire listeners, 30 days free at LearnToKiz.com/podcast. You won't find this offer anywhere else. LearnToKiz.com/podcast. And now back to our show. Yeah, definitely. The time management is really tough, and the energy management to go along with it, on top of traveling, and the social media aspect is super important, because that's kind of like how you guys get booked and get your videos and like your content out there. But at the same time, you have to work on the actual skill that you're going to put in the social media content, so I can definitely relate to both of that. I heard you mention sensuality and that being a challenge, and kind of defining what sensuality means in bachata, because obviously it's really easy for people to get misconceptions about what it means to be sensual and what's acceptable on the dance floor and what's respectable and things like that. So I wonder how much of your teachings are dedicated to like etiquette and respect. And also, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard things about consent in the dance world as well. So I wonder how that kind of ties into your teaching, because you said it was like an ever growing challenge. So I like to hear you guys' experiences with that.
One of the for sure, like we care so much about dance etiquette in our classes. Sometimes we talk with so much and we praise so much in class that we really we sometimes forget about playing. We run out of time to play a song so they can practice what we taught them. But we're just like, it is so important, etiquette, what you can and cannot do on the dance floor, and that's definitely one of the things that we like to talk about.
Or not that you can or cannot do, but you have to be very aware of the signals, right? Because we all know that different people go into the scene for different reasons. Mm-hmm. So like you as a leader or you as a follow have to be very aware and mindful of like your partner. And if he's giving you signals, then you can either respond or you can say, you can accept or deny, right? But it's about really being being present and understanding and interpreting, or even just actually asking what your partner is insinuating, and not feeling like scared or timid to just say, like, ask what they're doing, or if they're being disrespectful, having the courage to say something and be like, what you did is not okay, instead of just walking away from the dance and letting that happen to someone else. That's just what I think.
Definitely.
But in terms of like us teaching etiquette and sensuality in the dance floor, I think that as a student, if I would have started in the scene now versus before, I definitely would have had a different interpretation of what a bachata is, unfortunately. And I don't think I would be so passionate about bachata as I am today. And I think that's why I love teaching with Jonathan, because Jonathan feels the same way. And that's why we stress in our classes the fundamentals, because although you may not, maybe you like a specific style and that's what attracted you to bachata, and that's great. But within all these different styles that are coming up, your fundamentals are still important, no matter what style you dance. So I think that's why we stress in our classes the fundamentals. And within those fundamentals, reading body language, and giving physical cues, especially for like the follows. For me, I always teach that you can dance connected, but with applying pressure in certain areas of your, either giving more tension here or applying more resistance here. You can give your lead physical cues that you're not comfortable, or this is how comfortable I am in terms of spacing. No, I don't wish to be body rolled for this many times, or just stay in an open position and things like that. That way, you can still dance with someone and without having to actually tell them like, hey, I'm uncomfortable. You can say that with your body, and hopefully the lead is very aware and adapts to their follow.
Yeah, I tell the leads that I have in my classes, you have to listen to the way that the follower is listening to you. So a lot of etiquette and sensuality and boundaries, obviously with Kizomba, comes up a lot. And just letting the ladies know that they don't have to suffer through dances, and letting the guys know like, hey, you have to listen to the lady that you're dancing with and make sure that she's comfortable and you're not forcing yourself through. And it doesn't even have to be a sensual move. It could be a trick or a lean or something like that. It's like, read her body language and don't just assume just because you did it, she's going to like it, you know?
Yeah, I think it's also, again, I'm going to go back to perception. And perception is that when you go into a dance in terms of like, okay, I learned this in class, I'm going to try this out now. Instead of like, again, it's like a story. Like, you start with your partner, you slow it down, the tempo, because usually bachata songs don't start off with a bachata beat right away. So you take it slow, you do chord beats, and then you find out what the level of your dancer is. And from there, then you build a story throughout the song, instead of just going in there kind of zoned in on the moves that you're going to try with this partner. Instead of kind of bouncing off of your partner and having a fun time.
Awesome. I like you guys' perspective on a lot of things. This is why I have you guys on the podcast. So, so let's go ahead and take it into some actionable items that you guys have found and you guys are passionate about. Let's see if we can try to boil it down, because I know you guys probably have a million tips that you guys can give the leads and the follows out there in the scene. But what 3 tips would you give the leads to improve their bachata? If they're looking to improve their bachata and they're listening right now, what would you tell them?
So I love to say this one in the beginning, like as soon as we start the partner work portion of our class, the first thing I always tell people is what I'll say right now. And it's sometimes a little bit hard to hear, especially for beginners. And what we like to say is if you can dance an entire song with the person in front of you without having to rely on any dips, tricks, or turn patterns of any kind, and you could just stay doing the fundamentals the entire time, then you are doing a good job. If you have to rely on any sort of turn patterns or dips of any kind throughout to get you through the song, then you still have a lot of work to do based on your fundamentals. So if you work on your fundamentals and you get them down packed and you get confidence with your movement and how you move your hips and not turning your partner to get you through the song, then you're doing a very good job. That's one tip that I like to say.
Nice.
And what he means by that is because some people take it, we're like, oh, I can't do partner work because Jonathan said no partner work. It's not that. It's just that if you are dancing and you have nothing else to do and you resort to turn patterns, then that's when you have more work to do. But if you're able to actually incorporate your like a turn pattern because there's musicality behind it and not because you have no no more, I guess, ammo or ammunition.
I hear you.
In your repertoire, then that's okay, because you're doing it for the musicality component. But if you're doing it because you have nothing else, then that's where it's not okay, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's our first tip. So number 2.
And number 2, I think my tip for leads is to not be so, and that just also applies to follows too, but mostly leads too, is not to live in their head. Sometimes we're so wrapped up in like what we're gonna do and like what's the next move, or is she having a good time? And I think just to like really let go, and with letting go, I think also some gentlemen release tension. Sometimes I've had some really rough dances, and it's not because they're a rough lead, but it's just because they're so inside of their head. They're not conscious of how their body is reacting. And I think a rough lead can sometimes hinder a great dance. Okay, that's my number 2.
Number 2. Number 3, I'll just keep it short and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch your surroundings.
Oh,
Oh my God! Especially like all the big socials, any big congresses where there's a ton of people. Like, not only for yourself, but for the person that you're dancing with. Of course, I'm talking to the leads, or I guess just in general. But the leads have to take care of the followers.
Definitely.
So many times they're just not about. They just don't realize what's going on around them.
I've seen a couple of like really like, I'm going for it dips, but like you're dipping like right towards a table or a partner or somebody else. I'm like, you can literally like have her head hit something really, really hard if you're not careful of like where she is and where you're dipping her, you know?
Yeah, it's happened to us like 2 or 3 times at least, where, well, one time specifically where it happened. Oh, it was in Kansas, wasn't it?
yeah.
You were in Kansas with us.
Yeah, I was there.
In Kansas, sorry to call them out, but it happened in a social where we were dancing together, and luckily we were in an open position, and literally somebody dipped a girl right in front of us in between our legs, like right in between our open position.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and it's like, this has to be addressed. So we really, just guys, you want to dip girls, do what you got to do, but just do it just look where you're going. It's like, you don't walk down the street blind. You always look where you're going, and it's the same concept. And it's not only for them, it's not only for you or for everybody else, it's for just safety in general.
Yeah.
Nobody get hurt, and it takes away the fun part of the social dancing.
Definitely.
And it also applies to follows too. Like, as me as a follower, there are many times where I give my lead a lot of like resistance, just to let him know that the couple behind them is not being mindful of space and is really close to his or her back.
Yes.
So and then I have had leads like, thank you so much, is the first time, someone has, and I think that's because there's a lack of communication in terms of follows, that it's not something that's really taught in a way, but I also am very conscious of the leader's back and what's happening behind him, just so we both don't get hurt.
Definitely.
There you go.
3 tips for the leads. I hope you guys are taking notes. So now for the beautiful ladies out there, 3 tips for improving their bachata.
Ooh. Okay, I'll go first because I was going to add it to the other one, but I was like, nah, he only asked for 3. So now it's a chance to add. But this is like Jen's words.
Wait, so you're going to take my tip?
I'm going to take your tip. This is Jen's words.
Now you know. It's my mojo.
She always says in class, be submissive. So we love to show how, even with like anything that looks a little bit more like a class where you're doing some sort of a step, and a question will come up, is like, wait, how do you even follow that? And it's like, there's always a way to follow everything. As long as you have a good lead that knows what they're doing, or even if they don't, if you just pay attention and be submissive, you will be able to follow it. So one of my biggest pet peeves to followers, and it happens to me every Congress, every weekend, at least once or twice, is ladies who just lead themselves. Don't lead yourself, even if you're even if you're dancing with a guy, we like to say this, that dances like a little teapot and is just swaying left and right and doing something that's not bachata, and that's his interpretation of bachata. You have to do the same thing, unfortunately, and that's just the way it works. So ladies, or followers, just follow, let go. You said yes to a 3-minute dance with this person, so you just have to let go. And I promise you, it's only going to help at the end of the day.
I have a follow-up question to that.
Go for it.
Would you say that you find follows more often than not? Are they more on the I'm an independent woman, I'm going to do my thing and not listen to your lead side? Or because sometimes, I guess, on the flip side of that spectrum, you can have a follow who's too submissive and she's not showing any personality.
You're absolutely right. So like to go along with that, when it comes to bachata, right? So like I'm a huge salsa person also. So when it comes to bachata, you're absolutely right. Like that's, for me, this is like why Jen, and it's not because she's my partner. It's because this is why like Jen is the perfect medium of like being submissive and being yourself. You know, there's plenty of opportunities as a follower to do your own thing while the person in front of you is still trying to lead you. For example, like if we're in a closed position, there's not that much room for you to go and do your own thing. But there is plenty of room for you to do simple things, simple gestures with your hands, going from, like a follower's, like Jen's hand would go from my shoulder up to my neck, or from my shoulder down to like my arm, down to my hand, in a very simple, and like that's like our definition of like sensual, right? And you could be sensual in the simplest form. And then when you open up and have an open position dance, that's where you can do a lot more things, and you don't have to feel like you're restricted. It's but it's always it is definitely important to match the best that you can what's going on in front of you. But like now, just to like throw the other side of that, I like to use salsa because salsa is like one of my passions as well. And I can dance salsa with somebody. That's why like there's like a shines portion, right? When you dance salsa, there's like a shines portion where you just let go and you do your own thing. Nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. So that's like, to me, is like you have plenty of freedom there to do what you want. It's just I say it in such a like strict manner, and that's because of like the experiences I've had where I just feel like I'm not even dancing with the person in front of me anymore because they're just completely turning themselves or not even looking, or it's that's the kind of stuff that we're definitely like to stay away from. Well, not stay away from, but just help and teach so that it gets better. It improves over.
That's awesome. What number tip are we on? Was that one tip mixed into the second tip?
That was one. That was 1.5, 1.5.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
Well, yeah. So just to finish up number one though, like that, I start off that comment with like, yes, you're a strong, beautiful, independent woman outside of this dance floor, but on this dance floor you're submissive. Just to like also it doesn't sound like we're just telling ladies in our classes just be submissive, because
I took your thunder. You had to go and say you had to add on top of
no
that.
it's just Jonathan, like also well, I don't want to get into that in this conversation too, but like it's also, you have to be very conscious of gender roles and how the gender roles play in a dance scene. And I think that, leads, and especially when you're a man, you don't go through those things. So yeah, just being extra sensitive. Okay, Jonathan?
Okay, got it.
Awesome. Ali, tip number 2 for follows. I think attire is important when you're dancing socially, with whatever dance that or style you're dancing. You just have to be conscious of that. You have to adjust. So if you're wearing, let's say, pants or shorts, that's great. If you want to do a specific style where a lot of these dips are happening, but if you're wearing a dress, it is going to be very uncomfortable for you to be doing like body rolls that require different levels and dips, and just being conscious of like what you wear and your accessories. Like when you turn, if you're wearing a necklace, that you're not hitting your partner with your accessories, which is that's more of a vanity tip, maybe. Like,
no, but it's valid, because having that in place will, like, if it is getting in the way, then it's going to take away from being able to have a good dance, you know?
And big rings too. Big rings also bother leads because of the hand holding. Sometimes your accessories on your hands also can be bothersome.
That has definitely happened to me with Kizomba.
I definitely. You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, with the accessories, I don't think it's ever bothered me as far as bachata goes, and salsa it definitely does. Bachata, like, I guess just anything that's long.
Yeah, I hear you.
Anything that's long. The skirt thing or the dress thing is the worst.
When they have to keep pulling the skirt down?
I keep pulling it down. It's like, I know you want to look good, but come on, girl.
And I've been a culprit of this too. I'm also not gonna say like I've never fallen in this.
She did it this weekend twice.
So, but that's okay, because like I knew going into the dance what I was wearing, but I also wasn't looking to dance a certain specific style. I was mostly in
we're hanging out in the traditional room,
you know, hoping that there's a lot of basics and like people not trying to dip me. But it's also a two-way street, right? As a leader, you have to understand that I am wearing a dress, and maybe you're not going to do that dip on me.
Exactly.
So it's just communicating and realizing your expectations. Ladies don't expect to be dipped, and hopefully not to be dipped in a really short dress. And gentlemen, she's wearing a dress. Please be respectful of that.
Yes, exactly. So I would say
tip number 3?
To lighten up the mood. You ready?
Okay. Ooh.
Overall, like we've been kind of like
negative. Sorry, we've been negative Nancy's.
We've been negative Nancy's, but we just really want to help out the scene, and we're really just trying to improve the overall experience that people are having.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So in general, honestly, it's all about fun. Like everybody knows, and the majority of time, people dance because they want to have fun. So our number 3 tip is, like, if you like dancing bachata or you like dancing any form of music, do it and listen to the song. Like, let the song guide you. We're definitely the types to, like, if the song is not happening for us, we're like, nah. We're like, look, I mean, I've told plenty of followers that ask me to dance, hey, do you want to dance? I say, look, by the way, it's not my favorite song, but I'm going to do the best I can to make sure you have a great time. Because it's just, I can't get into it. You know, the music comes first. So if you love dancing bachata and you love bachata music in general, or any songs in general, before you start dancing, then let the song guide you throughout the night. And it's going to be a lot more fun. A lot more of a fun experience. Just don't forget to be submissive.
Yeah, no, and I think it's also to listen to bachata. Like, I guess we're talking because we're a bachata couple, but in any form of dance that you enjoy to dance, it's really, really cool. Like that moment when you're on the dance floor and it's gonna be another bachata song, but then the DJ plays your favorite bachata song, one that you know absolutely all the musicality hits. And you know where everything is coming, and like that feeling and being able to dance that with someone else, and then you see how they interpret your favorite parts is a super epic moment, especially for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But that won't happen if you don't know the song, if you're consistently being surprised because you don't listen to the genre of music that you're dancing. So I really, really suggest, I think with all of our students, we always say to just listen to the songs and see what your favorite is and see what style is your favorite.
Go to Spotify, just put
Bachata Lovers.
Bachata Lovers Radio, or Bachata Radio, traditional radio, whatever. Just start finding your favorite artists and then start a radio from there. Yeah. And you're going to hear plenty of music the entire day. We do it, especially being in New York. We walk down the street, go on the train, everywhere with music while you're at work, while you're in the car.
Well, now that you're at work, you have to work.
LA people in the traffic.
Okay.
Whatever it is, there's plenty of opportunities for you to listen to music and get more accustomed to what's going on out there. And not only the new things, listen to the old things. The reason why bachata became big, like Aventura and traditional and Luis Vargas and things like
Santos.
yeah, all these artists are so important, and people are starting to little by little forget about them.
Yeah.
Especially the new
wave of
the new wave, the new millennials.
I hear you. Awesome. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys sharing those tips for our listeners. I'm pretty sure they'll take some value from those as well. And that's what the podcast is all about. For the people who want to find out more about you on the interwebs, what's the best way for them to follow you guys?
Dum.
J Squared Bachata. It's so easy. So easy. JSquaredBachata.com.
And that's spelled out, right?
Yeah, it's JSQUARED bachata at .com at Gmail. That's also our Facebook, our Instagram. Everything is J Squared Bachata. It should be very easy to find us.
You could just Google it.
You could Google it. You could YouTube it.
You can ask Siri too.
Ooh, is that true?
I don't know.
I think Siri does do, like, if you ask her to find something and then she was like, okay, would you like me to search the web?
Do it, Jen. Do it. No, it's going to be embarrassing. Don't do it. Okay.
Should I send you a message?
Oh my God, Jonathan. No.
Okay, go. Let's find out.
No, stop talking.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh.
To whom should I send your message?
No. Wait, hold on.
Wow, this is
To
totally...
send it.
No, cancel.
Okay, I won't send it.
Okay. Oh my God, hold on. I got this. Please find J Squared.
Here's what I found on the web for Find J Squared.
Okay, definitely not. Siri did not find
You
us.
had to say bachata, Jennifer. Okay,
hold on. Let me see. Please find J Squared Bachata. Totally
Here's
not
what I
bachata.
found.
Definitely not.
You know what we learned? Siri sucks.
Don't find us on Siri because Siri's not gonna find us. Call
So
Tim
yeah,
Cook.
we also have a our YouTube channel. So J Squared Bachata everywhere. It should be able to find us. And
For
if
sure.
not, it's
I'll be sure to
look for
put
us
those
personally on Facebook.
Yeah.
On Facebook, J Squared Jonathan Godinez or Jennifer Isabel. You can find us and write us personally. Send us your videos. We love to see our students improving as well.
Yeah.
And we have plenty of people asking us questions too about what we teach. So we love all that kind of feedback.
Okay.
I know that you mentioned that you mostly interview Kizomba instructors, and we're so thankful that you reached out to us.
Definitely.
And asked us
Oh
to
my
be
God.
on here. And I think that a tip that we can, or not a tip, but like a comment that we can share is, no matter what community you're a part of, is that to not forget that you're a part of a community. And that your success and your ventures won't dampen, but like highlighting someone else's success and accomplishments won't dampen your own. They just build community, and they strengthen the community. And sometimes we all face struggles, and having a strong community always helps.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I obviously I have a bias towards Kizomba and things like that. But for this podcast, I know the world of dance is bigger than just Kizomba, even though it's what I dedicate a lot of my life to. So that's why it was kind of a part of the motive of reaching out to you guys. And I'm just like, if I see cool people in the dance scene, I'm going to bring them on the podcast, period, regardless of what they dance.
That's
Jonathan,
awesome.
we're cool.
All right, guys. Well, it was awesome talking to you guys. I appreciate you guys sharing your experiences and your tips. And we'll be seeing you guys in DC in 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Charles, you're amazing, and you have such awesome energy. So we're really happy that we got to hang out and get to know each other on a different level of just passerbyers.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're looking forward to hanging out with you in DC, and thank you so much for thinking about us.
I love the name of your podcast.
Yes, because it's. I mean, once you're addicted to dance, and I'm pretty sure you guys have dedicated so much time and energy to like just the passion of dance, it's like literally having it on fire,
Ooh.
Yeah, dance your heart on fire.
Mm-hmm.
All right, brother.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Take it easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you for checking out the Dance Your Heart on Fire podcast today. be sure to check out neokizomba.com for links to everything that we chatted about today, as well as some awesome free resources to enhance your Kizomba journey.
Contemplando tu foto